Let me begin by telling you something I learned many years ago. Every life has its seasons, and each season brings its own opportunity. Now, most people don't think much about winter except to complain about the cold, the darkness, the slow days. But here's what I discovered. Winter is one of the greatest advantages life will ever hand you if you know how to use it. See, the same season that makes one person slow down will make another speed up. The same cold that sends one man back under the blankets sends another out to build the future. Winter doesn't decide who wins. Winter simply reveals who prepared. This next season, we're stepping into these 90 days ahead. It can be the hinge on which the entire year of 2026 swings. You see, the turning point of a life is rarely found in the fireworks of January 1st. No. The turning point is found in the quiet days of winter, when the world is resting, coasting, relaxing, and you decide to rise, to sharpen, to build. Because it's in the silence of winter that new discipline is forged. It's in the stillness of winter that new philosophy begins to take root. And it's in the hardship of winter that you learn the most valuable lesson of all. Comfort is the enemy of progress. Now, this 90-day winter arc I'm going to walk you through is not a short motivational sprint. It's a long exchange. 90 days where you trade the old you for the new you. 90 days where you give up what's easy in exchange for what's meaningful. 90 days where you begin to earn the future you've been promising yourself for years. And I'll tell you what I've told thousands of people. For things to change, you have to change. For things to get better, you have to get better. Nothing will improve until you do. So here's the plan. The winter arc is divided into 3 powerful phases. The first 30 days are about character building, the person who can handle success. The next 30 days are about capability becoming more valuable to the marketplace. And the final 30 days are about contribution, moving with such momentum that 2026 won't be ready for the person you've become. It's a full transformation built on one simple principle. Discipline early, reward later. Because winter is not the time to sleep through your dreams. Winter is the time to plant the seeds of your next harvest. And if you do this right, if you give this season your best, you will walk into 2026 not hopeful, not guessing, not wishing, but prepared. Now let me tell you why winter is the perfect season to begin this 90-day transformation. You see, winter has a way of separating the serious from the casual. The casual man waits for spring, waits for a little sunshine, waits for a little motivation, waits for life to get easier. But the serious man, he understands something different. He understands that winter multiplies the efforts of the disciplined because fewer people are moving, fewer people are building, fewer people are paying the price. Winter reduces the noise so you can finally hear the truth. And here's the truth. The world slows down in winter, and that slowdown is a gift. When activity drops, your focus rises. When the crowds disappear, your commitment becomes visible. When distractions fade, your habits become louder. You see, winter gives you space. Space to think, space to plan, space to rebuild the parts of your life you overlooked during the busy months. Winter invites reflection. And reflection is the birthplace of change. Most people misinterpret the season. They think winter is a sign to rest, to stop, to wait. But I've learned that winter isn't a signal to pause, it's a signal to prepare. Because while the rest of the world says, I'll begin when the weather is better, the wise person says, this is exactly when I should begin. The quiet months become your training ground. The cold mornings build your toughness. The long nights strengthen your discipline. And the stillness sharpens your decision making. I often say, don't wait for the season to feel right. Use the season you're given. If you only operate when everything is perfect, you'll miss the opportunities buried in the imperfect. Winter is not a season of weakness. Winter is a season of advantage. Less noise, less distraction, less temptation to drift. What a wonderful environment to build the new you. So as we step into this winter arc, keep one idea close. Winter doesn't stop the prepared. Winter equips the prepared. It's the perfect climate for reinvention, for resetting your philosophy, for laying down the first stones of a new foundation. And once that foundation is set, the rest of the year becomes easier, not by chance, but by design. Now that we understand the power of the season, we can move into the first stage of your transformation, the part where we begin shaping the person who will carry these new results. Because before the year changes, the person must change. Now, let's talk about the first 30 days of this winter arc, the character arc. And let me tell you, this is where the real work begins. Because before you change your income, your habits, your environment, even your opportunities, you must change you. Not the world, not your boss, not your circumstances, you. Jim Rohn taught it everywhere he went. Success is something you attract by the person you become. And if that's true, and it is, then the first month of this journey isn't about chasing results. It's about shaping the kind of person who naturally produces them. You see, character is the root system of your life. Most people want the fruit, but they ignore the roots. They want the reward without the refinement, the harvest without the planting, the breakthroughs without the discipline. But life doesn't operate on shortcuts. Life operates on laws. And one of the great laws is this: you cannot rise above the strength of your own character. If your habits are weak, your results will be temporary. If your self-discipline is inconsistent, your confidence will always be fragile. If your philosophy is outdated, your opportunities will pass you by. That's why the first 30 days are non-negotiable. They are about rebuilding you from the inside out. So what do we do in these first 30 days? We start with a daily ritual of discipline, small, simple, but powerful. 15 minutes every morning to tune the mind. 10 pages of reading to stretch the thinking. A brief journal entry to keep you honest. A review of your goals to remind you what matters. And one personal improvement commitment every single day. Not a giant leap, just one small refinement. Why? Because small disciplines accumulate just like small neglects do. And both will show up later, one as pride, the other as regret. During this first month, we're also training your emotional toughness. Doing one thing every day that you don't want to do, confronting the inner voice that negotiates your dreams away. Practicing the uncomfortable art of delayed gratification. Because character's not built in ease, it's built in resistance. Every act of discipline strengthens your identity. Every promise kept builds trust with yourself. And trust, my friend, is the foundation of all personal confidence. Another part of this 30-day reset is reshaping your personal philosophy. Where did your beliefs about success come from? Who taught you your habits? Who shaped your thinking? And more importantly, are those ideas still serving you today? You'd be amazed how many people are trying to build a modern life with ancient thinking. In the character arc, we challenge the old patterns, we question the assumptions, we replace outdated beliefs with principles that actually match your future. And let's not forget the emotional habits, complaining, comparing, drifting. These three thieves steal more potential than failure ever has. For 30 days, we silence them because your character can't grow in a mind full of noise, negativity, and doubt. Now, don't expect the first month to feel easy. It won't. But don't expect it to feel impossible either. The goal here isn't perfection. The goal is momentum, one day at a time, one discipline at a time, one improvement at a time, and slowly, quietly, steadily, you become the kind of person capable of handling the success you've been dreaming about. As Jim Rohn said, the greatest form of discipline is to do what you know you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. These first 30 days are your chance to practice exactly that. Build the foundation. Build the roots. Build the version of you that will carry the rest of this journey with strength and certainty. And once that foundation is in place, we can step into the next phase where character meets capability. Now that we've built the foundation of character in the first 30 days, let's talk about something absolutely essential, the discipline protocol. And let me tell you up front, the day you feel motivated is not the day that defines you. It's the day you don't feel motivated. Because anybody can act when they feel like acting. But success belongs to the man who can act when he doesn't feel like it. Jim Rohn used to say, we must all suffer one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And I learned very early that discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. The discipline protocol is designed to help you carry the lighter pain today so you don't have to carry the heavier one tomorrow. Now let me outline this protocol in a way that's simple, clear, and doable. The first rule is this: do not negotiate with your old self. The moment you start debating whether you should or shouldn't, the old you, the comfortable you, the distracted you, he wins. You must act before the negotiation begins. This is how you build the identity of a disciplined person. Not by waiting for the feeling, but by eliminating the argument. The second part of the protocol is energy management. You see, discipline is not only about willpower, it's also about strategy. If you wait until the end of the day to do the hard things, chances are you'll be out of energy, out of courage, out of strength. So the discipline protocol asks you to do your most important task early. Pay the price early. Make the down payment on your future early. Because once you win the morning, the rest of the day becomes a negotiation in your favor. The third part is what I call the discipline ladder. 4 simple levels. Do it badly. Don't wait to be perfect. Don't wait to be impressive. Just begin. Do it consistently. The body adapts. The mind adjusts. Discipline becomes familiar. Do it well. Skill returns. Efficiency increases. Resistance weakens. Do it naturally. What once felt like a burden now becomes your baseline. You climb this ladder not by giant leaps, but by daily repetitions. That's why the protocol insists on consistency over intensity. Anybody can sprint for 2 days. The disciplined person jogs for 30. The fourth component is the evening honesty check. This one is crucial. Every night, ask yourself 3 questions. What did I produce today? What did I postpone today? What did I tolerate today? Honesty is the scoreboard of discipline. If you can't be honest with yourself about your day, you won't transform your life in 90 days. Keep the promises you make in the morning and evaluate the truth in the evening. The fifth and final part is emotional discipline. And let me warn you, this might be the hardest discipline of them all. Because the real enemy isn't laziness. It's the emotion that whispers, not today. It's the emotion that says, I deserve a break. It's the emotion that says, I can catch up tomorrow. But discipline is the ability to act independent of mood. The moment you stop obeying your emotions is the moment your future opens. So these next 30 days are not about feeling powerful, they're about becoming powerful. They're not about ease, they're about mastery. Follow this protocol, and something remarkable happens. The identity of someone who tries becomes the identity of someone who follows through. And once you master the discipline protocol, you are ready for the next phase of the winter arc, the building of capability, the increasing of your value, the strengthening of your skills. Now let's enter the second phase of the winter arc, the capability arc. The first 30 days were about character, the internal foundation. But character alone isn't enough. If your character is strong, but your skills are weak, life will still be hard. If your habits are solid, but your value is low, your opportunities will still be limited. So the next 30 days are dedicated to increasing your capability because your life expands only as your value expands. Jim Rohn said it clearly. Don't wish it were easier, wish you were better. And once you understand that idea, everything changes. Because most people pray for luck, hope for shortcuts, wait for opportunity, but the marketplace isn't generous. The marketplace is fair. It pays the capable. It rewards the valuable. It recognizes the skilled. You don't get paid for your time. You get paid for the value you bring to that time. So what do we do in these 30 days? We upgrade your value. Let's begin with skill acquisition. Not random talent, but intentional capability. Communication, because the world belongs to those who can articulate ideas. Leadership, because influence is the gateway to opportunity. Creativity, because problems yield to those who can see beyond the obvious. And physical capability, because your health is the fuel for your ambition. Every skill you add multiplies your earning power. Every improvement expands the negotiation you have with life. Next, we must talk about learning versus consuming. A lot of people today consume information like tourists taking pictures but not building anything. They listen, they watch, they scroll, but they never apply. And that's why their life doesn't change. See, learning is acquisition. Consuming is entertainment. Real learning shows up in behavior, not memory. So these 30 days require applied learning notes turned into plans, plans turned into action, action turned into capability. Another part of the capability arc is understanding the marketplace equation. The marketplace doesn't care about your intentions, it cares about your contribution. It doesn't ask how long did you try. It asks, what can you do? The more you can do, the more life will offer you. And the beautiful part is this, capability is earned, not inherited. You can grow it, you can build it, you can multiply it if you're willing to practice. Once each week, I want you to run what I call a value increase experiment. For 7 days at a time, pick one area of your life, your communication, your discipline, your reliability, your speed, your kindness, your creativity, and improve it on purpose. Not occasionally, but deliberately. Increase your value by 10% in one domain every week. After 4 or 5 weeks of this practice, you'll notice something extraordinary. People respond differently. Opportunities shift. Your confidence rises. Not because life changed, but because you changed. And finally, let me give you Rohn's version of the 5-hour rule. Spend one focused hour each day upgrading your skills, reading, practicing, studying, refining. 1 hour. Because an hour a day separates the curious from the competent and the competent from the exceptional. So these middle 30 days are about increasing your capability until you become someone the world cannot ignore, someone whose skills earn trust, someone whose reliability opens doors, someone whose value demands opportunity. And once you raise your capability, you're ready for the final phase, the contribution arc, where your momentum becomes unstoppable. Now we move into the final phase of the winter arc, the last 30 days. And let me tell you, this is where everything begins to accelerate. The first 30 days built your character. The second 30 days increased your capability. But these last 30 days are about something even more powerful, contribution. Because once you strengthen who you are and refine what you can do, the natural next step is to bring it outward to your work, your relationships, your community, and your future. Jim Rohn always said, the bigger the gift you give the world, the bigger the gift it gives you back. And that's the whole purpose of this final stage. You've planted the seeds. You've tended the roots. Now it's time to move from personal growth to personal influence, from building yourself to building your future. The first focus of these last 30 days is momentum. Momentum is a miraculous force. Once it starts working for you, it makes every effort easier. But momentum only comes to those who have practiced discipline long enough to earn it. And after 60 days of daily habits, routines, refinements, and repetitions, you're finally ready for the power of accumulated consistency. In this arc, consistency becomes identity. Identity becomes confidence. And confidence becomes action. Next, we shift your energy toward meaningful output. Contribution is not just about charity, it's about creation. These 30 days ask you to produce something, a project, a plan, a body of work, a physical transformation, a financial foundation, a new opportunity, a revived relationship, something you can look at and say, that exists because I showed up. The world respects producers, not just learners. This is your moment to produce. We also begin strengthening your reputation. And don't misunderstand, your reputation is not what people say about you, it's what people can count on you to do. In these final 30 days, you become that person. The one who is reliable, the one who finishes, the one who keeps his word, the one who gets things done. Because reputation is quiet, but it's powerful. It opens doors long before you arrive. Another important part of this last arc is writing your future you contract. 30 days before this journey ends, I want you to write a document, not a wish list, not a fantasy, but a contract between who you are today and who you intend to be in 2026. A contract signed by your discipline, not by your feelings. A contract you live into, not just read. Put in writing the standards you choose to uphold, the habits you refuse to break, the future you promise to build. When you sign it, you shift from motivation to commitment. And then finally, these last 30 days are about becoming a person others can depend on. Because here's the truth. You cannot build a remarkable life without becoming a remarkable person. People follow steadiness. People trust consistency. People respect someone whose character has been tested and strengthened. When you become the person others can count on, life begins counting on you in return with opportunities, responsibilities, relationships, and rewards. So this final contribution arc is the moment your new identity meets the world. The moment you step into 2026, not hoping it will be better, but ensuring you will be better. The moment you let the work of the last 60 days begin to pay dividends. And the moment you understand momentum is not luck, success is not magic, transformation is not accidental, it is earned. And you are earning it day by day, step by step, habit by habit. Now that the contribution arc is laid out, it's time to talk about something most people never consider, the actual price of transformation. Now let's talk about something absolutely essential, the price. Because no matter how inspired you feel, no matter how motivated you are, no matter how powerful this winter arc becomes for you, transformation still demands a payment. It always has, and it always will. Jim Rohn taught one principle more than almost anything else. You can't get something for nothing. Everything has a cost. Everything. And if that's true, and it is, then the question isn't, is there a price? The question is, are you willing to pay it? Over these 90 days, you've already begun to understand that growth comes with its own invoice. There's the price of time, giving up an hour of comfort for an hour of progress. There's the price of discipline, doing the thing you don't want to do in order to create the future you do want. There's the price of fatigue, pushing through when the body whispers tomorrow. And there's the price of sacrifice, letting go of old habits, old excuses, old versions of yourself. But here's the most important distinction. Don't measure the cost, measure the value. The value is always greater than the cost. Always. The price of discipline is temporary. The value it creates is permanent. The price of discomfort is momentary. The confidence it produces is lifelong. The price of sacrifice feels heavy at first, but the freedom it unlocks feels light forever. Now, along the way, you will encounter what I call the hidden fees of transformation. And these are the ones most people never budget for. First, criticism. The moment you start improving, someone will question you, your effort, your ambition, your new standards. It's part of the exchange. People criticize what they don't understand and what they're unwilling to do themselves. Then comes fatigue. Not just physical fatigue, but emotional fatigue, the kind that shows up after a long week of change, a long stretch of effort. That's natural. Fatigue is not a sign to stop. It's a sign you're paying the real price of progress. Next is doubt. And let me tell you, doubt always arrives disguised as reason. It whispers things like, is this worth it? Or do you really need to do all this? But doubt is simply a toll booth on the road to success. You pay with persistence, and it lets you pass. Then there are setbacks, life's unexpected charges, the obstacles nobody warned you about, the delays you didn't plan for, the frustrations that appear out of nowhere. But remember, setbacks are part of the bill, not a penalty, just part of the price. Jim Rohn said it best, don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. And that's exactly what this winter arc has been preparing you for. To become the kind of person who can handle the price without breaking, without quitting, without collapsing into excuses. So understand this clearly. The price of transformation is not punishment. The price is simply the doorway. Pay it, and the door opens. Refuse it, and the door stays shut no matter how badly you want what's on the other side. But the beautiful part is this. Once the price is paid, even once, the world begins to recognize the new you. Momentum grows. Confidence rises. Opportunities appear. Because life responds not to wishes, but to investment. Not to dreams, but to discipline. Not to intentions, but to exchange. And that brings us to what everyone loves to hear, the rewards that follow those who pay the price. Now let's talk about the part everyone loves, the reward. But let me caution you, the true reward of this winter arc isn't what you get, it's who you become. Jim Rohn said it beautifully. The real value of becoming wealthy isn't the money. The real value is the skills, the discipline, the character you develop along the way. And he was right. Because long before life rewards you with results, it rewards you with identity. After 90 days of character, capability, and contribution, something remarkable begins to happen. You start walking differently, not with arrogance, but with assurance. You start thinking differently, not in limitation, but in possibility. You start speaking differently, not with doubt, but with clarity. And you start expecting differently, not miracles, but returns on your own discipline. The first reward is confidence. Not the loud kind that tries to impress people, but the quiet kind that allows you to trust yourself. Confidence comes from promises kept. When you say, I will, and you follow through, a new kind of strength is born. And that strength stays with you long after the 90 days are over. The second reward is momentum. Momentum is one of life's greatest gifts. It makes hard things easier. It multiplies your effort. It lifts your standards without effort. Momentum isn't given, it's earned through consistency. And once it's working for you, every part of your life improves at a faster rate. The third reward is opportunity. Not because luck suddenly appears, but because your new capability places you where luck tends to show up. Opportunity comes to those who prepare. And after 90 days of investment, you've prepared yourself in a way most people never do. The fourth reward is respect, self-respect first, and the respect of others second. People begin to trust you because you've become trustworthy. People begin to rely on you because you've become reliable. People begin to seek you out because you've become valuable. You don't demand respect, you earn it by becoming a better version of yourself. The fifth reward is freedom, true freedom. The freedom to make decisions based on strength, not insecurity. The freedom to choose your path because you finally trust your capability to walk it. The freedom to design your life because you've proven you can follow through. Freedom is the receipt life gives you after discipline has been paid in full. The sixth reward is clarity. When you become disciplined, the fog lifts. You see what matters. You see what doesn't. You see who lifts you and who limits you. You see which habits help you and which ones hold you back. Clarity is power. And clarity is earned through consistent action. And perhaps the greatest reward of all is identity, the identity of someone who knows they can change, someone who knows they can build, someone who knows they can take command of their life. When you reach March 2025, you won't just have new habits or new routines. You'll have a new reputation with yourself, and that is priceless. Jim Rohn once said, work harder on yourself than you do on your job, because if you become more, you can attract more. And that's exactly what this winter arc has been doing, turning you into someone who naturally attracts better relationships, better opportunities, better circumstances, and better results. By the end of these 90 days, you will see that transformation isn't magic, it's math. Small disciplines added up over time create a life you once thought was out of reach. And you'll realize that the reward wasn't the finish line. The reward was the person who crossed it. Now that we've seen the rewards, it's time to close out this journey with one final message, one that sets the tone for the entire year ahead. Now, as we come to the end of this winter arc journey, let me leave you with one final message, perhaps the most important message of all. Start now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when life slows down or when conditions improve. Start now. Because the greatest tragedy is not a life without opportunity. The greatest tragedy is a life filled with opportunity that you never take. Jim Rohn used to say, what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And that's the truth of transformation. Reading 10 pages is easy. Skipping them is easy. Waking up early is easy. Pressing snooze is easy. Doing your rituals is easy. Postponing them is easy. The difference isn't in the action, it's in the decision. And the decision is always yours. These next 90 days can become the turning point of your entire year, even your entire life. The winter arc is not a trend, not a challenge, not a momentary burst of motivation. It is a design, a plan, a deliberate act of personal leadership. It's your way of saying, I will not wait for circumstances. I will not wait for inspiration. I will not wait for permission. I begin now. And if you begin now, if you commit to the character arc, the capability arc, the contribution arc, something extraordinary will happen. You will discover that life responds to the disciplined. Life opens doors for the prepared. Life rewards the consistent. Not all at once, not overnight, but surely, steadily, inevitably. Think about it. 90 days from now, you can be stronger, wiser, more skilled, more confident, and more valuable. Or 90 days from now, you can be exactly where you are today. Same habits, same doubts, same results. One decision makes the difference. The seasons will change with or without you. Winter will come and winter will go. But the real question is, will you change with the seasons, or will you wait for another year to pass you by? You have a window right now, a rare window. While the world slows down, you can speed up. While others rest, you can rise. While others delay, you can begin. And when the rest of the world wakes up in spring, you'll already have a 90-day advantage. So here's my final encouragement. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Make this the moment. Choose discipline over regret. Choose progress over comfort. Choose to begin inside the season most people overlook, because this winter can be the one that rewrites the rest of your story. Start the winter arc, pay the price, reap the reward, and let 2026 find you not hoping for a better year, but prepared to create one.